Great, thank you very much, Pete. It's all good down under.
Good.
Oh,
All
down
right.
under.
You must be heading into summer. Must be warming up.
It's 20 odd degrees Celsius and some, and I'm just back and it's lovely and warm and sunny. Great day.
Good, good, good. All
Sounds
right.
nice.
Let me share my screen and we will go here. So, welcome all. What we would like to talk about today, and this is really the Monday meeting every fortnight, every 2 weeks, going forth, where we want to focus really on this whole thing in and around personal development. We can talk to be blue in the face about LifeWave, the compensation plan, and how the patches work and all that kind of stuff. But one thing I learned 25 years ago, that when I started tapping in to the personal development side of things through my previous network marketing company, my altitude working for software companies and then eventually working for IBM was a direct result of what I got out of the personal development side. So, as the old saying goes, success is when preparation and opportunity comes around. So, preparation here is in the space of personal development. Click on this. So, what we will talk about today, and Julie has some other things at the end, but John Maxwell, a very prolific author, written probably something like 80 books. Some of the titles being, for example, the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, the 17 Laws of Teamwork, Develop the Leader Within You, Develop the Leaders Around You. One of his podcasts, two of them actually, he developed a concept called leadership landmines. And these are both for ourselves personally, in our own private lives, and also with our families, and also with the teams that we lead, maybe through LifeWave, also teams that we have at work or in whatever we do, whether it's our churches, whether it's voluntary organizations. It could be things like just the Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts. But wherever we go, there's always a need for leadership. So how do we identify? Identify.
That's good.
Yeah, it looked funny for me for a second. How do we identify them? There's 10 of them. So we go through two or three of them today. How do we diffuse them? Because you don't really want to step on them.
Hmm.
So you need to be able to recognize them and see them, identify them. Then how do I untangle it? There might be someone that you might have to take under your wing and help coach them, train them, guide them on how to not step on these landmines. And how do you then correct for yourself and then also in an organization, how do you go about doing that? So these are not in any particular order, but I just pulled out three of them and let's talk about some of them as we go along. So the first one is poor self-discipline. So if you are inconsistent and you don't dress for the job, you don't show up, you're unshaven, you might have BO or whatever. It's like it's a discipline. Why do we go and have a shower every day? Well, because I actually prefer to smell nice. And why do we brush our teeth twice a day? Well, I prefer to keep them. Right?
Just because you
So,
live in the South, brother, doesn't mean you have to look like it.
but again, from a perspective of leadership, what do I do myself? So, for example, I'll use myself as an example. I say that I want to stay strong. I want to have a good physique. Now, God blessed me with some amazing genes, not the ones that I put one leg into and then the other leg into or do it up at the top, but My genetic material is, I'm blessed. Could I do some work to improve it? I'm not that vain, but at the same time, as I grow older, I need to look after and keep my muscle mass. So the day and time is getting closer and closer to me actually stepping into the in-house gym and spend a half an hour to an hour in there lifting some irons and doing some things that I know is going to hurt for a while. I haven't done it for a long time in a big way. So if I'm letting myself off the hook, and I can claim to be busy. I woke up this morning, for example, at 5:30. I was awake at 3. One of the dogs was making some noises, but then I went back to sleep and I woke up at 5:30. Well, rather than turn around and let one of the dogs be a sleeping pill and cuddle up next to me and Julie, I could have gotten out of bed and sat down and read something for half an hour. I don't have electricity. Actually, we do have a generator out in the barn as well. So I could have gone to the gym, or I could actually come in here to the office and done some work on my AI project. Did I? It's easy to do, and it's easy not to do. And I'm being open here. So when I take the time to reflect on these things, then speaking it out loudly to myself, and in this case, this little forum, it becomes now almost like a badge of honor to say, "Oh, Knut, how are you going with the gym?" And you very quickly find out whether I'm fibbing or not, because you will see it in my eyes and you'll hear it in my voice. So I'm holding myself self-accountable here as well. So how do you overcome this landmine? Develop daily habits that align with values and goals. I'll say that again. To overcome this landmine, develop daily habits that align with values and goals. We all have 24 hours in a day. And this is so poignant. What a good word that is, poignant. We were talking literally this morning, I believe it was, maybe it was last night, where we went, well, everything you do between 8 and 5 makes you a living. Whatever you do before 8 a.m. or whatever you do after 5 p.m. makes you a fortune. I'll say that again. Whatever you do between 8 and 5 makes you a living. Whatever you do before 8 and after 5 makes you a fortune. If you do something, and that doesn't count sitting down on the sofa with a glass of red wine and some dark chocolate. If you know what I mean. Yes, you need to have a little
Not
bit of
every day.
Except you need to have some time for a rest. But there are other aspects to this as well. So it also equips leaders, yourself. I mean, you've got to be a leader for yourself as well. So when you actually see things and you observe things, then you are in a position to be able to self-assess, to steer and to guide. Because if you're leading a team or a voluntary organization, and remember, LifeWave is a voluntary organization. Nobody is nobody's boss, or nobody's anybody's boss, put it that way. So that's why it also helps them to have, okay, we're doing X, we're doing Y, and then have that accountability to say, okay, I'm interested in growing this to $500 a week or a month. What do I need to do? And therein comes the coachability in all of this. Not teachability, coachability. So when you have a mentor, they might see something. And I remember a former, or he still is what's called a founder's crown ambassador in Australia and Amway. And he said this from stage, and he goes, I ain't going to say anything until I'm asked the question. Because unsolicited advice is never heeded. But the moment in time you come to the position where you go, hang on, this is not growing, this is not working the way that I want it to, what do I need to do different? So as a coach then comes in and says, well, I think you need to speak to 3 to 5 people a day. Go ahead and do that for the next week and tell me the result. And that's where the whole process of being accountable to yourself as well comes in. So having the self-discipline to go ahead and do that. Self-discipline ensures that a leader's actions match their words, building trust and credibility. Any question on this? That's one more bullet point there. So discipline is not about rigid control, as in having a bullwhip over your shoulder and cracking it over someone's back. That doesn't work real good. So from any organization, I remember working for an organization in Sydney where it was a personal development company, and basically Brian Tracy was coming to town. So we were on the phone every single day, and the goal was to make 100 calls every single day. This is before we had robot dialing. And the goal was to have 100 calls. And the guy we were working for, he goes, okay, none of you seem to be able to do it. All right? He goes, I'll tell you what, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to do what you guys are doing, but I'm going to show that you can do 100 calls. And I went, yeah, right. Sure enough, he got in at 7:45 in the morning and he left at 5:15 and he had made 100 calls. And we went, okay. It's like the 4-minute mile, right? Everybody said it's not possible. And then suddenly one person does it. And now within half a year, there's 24 people who've broken the 4-mile barrier. Incredible. I didn't realize I had one more point there. But it goes without saying that actually that's really what I led into what I said there. He had a discipline to sit down and make the calls rather than spending 5 minutes on the phone and spending 15 minutes analyzing the call. He was just like, okay, next number, next number, next number, next number, next number, next number. And he had the discipline to do it and he produced the results. And that was an inspiration to all of us in the room at that time. Another landmine is unrealistic expectations. So, yes, what do you want to say about that, Jules?
Unrealistic expectations in network marketing is huge. I mean, I fall for it all the time because, people say stuff like they're, oh, I'm really keen, and then you can't get hold of them again. Or, you sort of build it up, or you have another good meeting and then they sign up and then you can't get hold of them, or they kind of, it's almost like they haven't seen it, So I've had to really learn. I think this is a great one because this is something when you get good at this, you don't have any expectations at all. It's a much nicer place to be.
And absolutely. And you, again, coupling that back to what we were talking about, the integrity side of things. It's like unrealistic expectations. For example, let's say Julie and I said we wanted to go senior presidential director by national convention. Well, is that realistic given the workload that we both have in the next 3 weeks? Okay, let me put it another way. Let's say you want to lose some weight. And let's say you wanted to lose 30 pounds of weight. And you go to yourself and you maybe say to your spouse, your partner, or whomever, and say, okay, I'll have it done in 3 weeks. Is that realistic? Or is it, I don't know the way looking at it, is it achievable? Yes. Just chop off your right leg or your left leg and you have 30 pounds less. Is it sustainable? No, it's not. So the sustainable approach is, okay, manage your macros, manage your food, and do some exercise, get some good sleep, don't drink alcohol, and it will start fall off. So you need to have ambition and vision, but pushing. So especially here in LifeWave, you can only set goals for yourself and work to achieve them. And even if you have, say, registered 15 or 20 or 30 people, Julie and I have introduced more than 150 people. But we can't sit on top of them and try to hatch them like a mother hen. It's all about where people are themselves in their own lives and allowing people to grow. Now, if you came to me and said, okay, I would like to be a manager by the end of by the time we get to national convention, I said, sure. Do you have an hour a day? And we will get it done. That is different because we know how to do this. That's fine. But it's an effort that then needs to be sustained. If you came to me and said, I want to be a manager by the end of this week, sure, we can get it done. You have an hour and a half to 2 hours in the next 4 or 5 days each day, and we'll get it done. But you've got to have that expectation yourself that you're up for the work, because no matter what you do, there's going to be work in here with discipline to get it done. So if you set yourself the goal and you don't follow through with the actions, the discipline that is needed, well, guess what? You're going to be disappointed. And people who invest their belief and their time and their efforts in you, well, they might not necessarily be disappointed, because we are all on an even playing field here. We all want to get something done and achieve something. When I ran the sales division for IBM in a product in IBM called WebSphere for Asia Pacific, I had a big number to deliver and 236 salespeople. But if one of them was working on a deal for $1 million and it fell through, where I needed to have other options, I needed to have a plan B, plan C, plan D, and I couldn't walk out and go, oh, I'm so seriously disappointed in you for not delivering. Life happens. People, yeah, it happens. So there is this contingency as well, that if you do set a goal, then you just got to have a couple of other options and other ways of getting things done as well. You got to have vision and realism. As I said earlier, when you want to lose 30 pounds of weight, fine, chop a leg off and you have done it. But it's not sustainable. So whatever you're setting out is like going to the gym. I mean, if I was to run a marathon, and this body of mine is not built for running, I can promise you. But if I wanted to run a marathon, and the marathon was, say, on Sunday, 2 weeks from now, there's no way on this planet that I would be able to get myself into physical shape enough to go and do that. It's not possible. But maybe I said, maybe wanting to run a marathon by July next year, well, that's different. Now there's a goal line out there. And I'm not saying I'll do that. That's not a promise from me. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. But there are, for us as leaders, for you as leaders, for yourself and for your team, for your group, it's being able to cast that vision. When you say, okay, we'll work with you, we'll help you go across stage as X, as a manager, director, or senior director. Let's go and help someone who has a problem with their health. Okay, that's the vision. How would you feel when you can actually go outside and stand in the sun without having to rely on crutches? So that's challenging both the team and the individual. What is achievable of what we're talking about? So what do? Well, we break down larger goals into smaller attainable steps. In other words, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So as we begin to, every single journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. And I think it was Brian Tracy or one of those guys, maybe Jim Rohn, that says, inch by inch, it's a cinch. So we're building the muscle, we're building the lung capacity, we're building the body being able to achieve new things that we previously thought was not possible. I was talking to one of my developers today, and I asked them, so how have you ever thought about a way or a method to create a computer program, an algorithm that can figure out when the public holidays are here in the US? And they looked at me as if I had three heads. I said, no, they said we stored out in a database and we update it every year. I go, that's a bit inefficient, isn't it? And they go, no, that's the way we've always done it. And I said, okay, just out of curiosity, since if July the 4th is on a Saturday, we got Friday off. July the 4th is on a Sunday, we get Monday off. And they went, oh, we never thought about it like that. So when you post a new way or new approach to a challenge, don't be afraid of thinking outside the box. We are fortunate that we have that this is a team system for LifeWave, but what is the system for your life? Do you take stock every day, have a gratitude journal, or do you have at the beginning of the week or Sunday night, you say, okay, these are the two things that are priority 1 and 2 for me to achieve this week so I can take one step closer to my goals. That's maybe personal, it might be for your team, it might be for your group, it might be for your business or your volunteer organization. And as we begin to corral our time, our effort, and our energy into those things, well, now we have something that is beginning to gain momentum. Because at the end of the day, and I say this with kindness in my heart, is an expression I learned many years ago, even Jesus can't steer a parked car. There's got to be some sort of momentum going forward. And in doing that, we create much healthier environment, but not only for ourselves, for our own team, for our own business, where we can strive for excellence and success. But we don't put the standards of someone who has a PhD in a field or running a $500 billion company on ourselves, because we don't have the skill sets, and we think, well, guess what? Inch by inch by inch, it's possible, but we don't develop those leadership skills. We don't develop that mentality overnight. It's a journey. Finally, we have insecurity. The challenge here for all of us is one of his books, John Maxwell, the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, he talks about the law of the lid. My own capacity, my own level of leading myself and being able to lead others. And wherever you are, there will always be some level of insecurity where you have never been somewhere before. Scuba diving in cenotes or sinkholes in Cancun, there was a certain amount of insecurity, but I had enough training behind me to know that this is going to work out fine. If I like to call it this way, it's like if I have an inward focus on myself, I am not in a position to give to others. It becomes very difficult, almost impossible to do that. So the moment in time I open up my heart and my vision to see how I can make a difference for other people, like my developer today, that I said, okay, let me take 10 minutes and sit and go through this with you. And she goes, I've never thought like that before. I said, no, that's fine. You've been in IT for 10 years. I've been in IT for 45 years. You can't put an old head on young shoulders. But I can share my experience and I can share my passion for what I do as well. the second part here, withhold opportunities, micromanage, or resist promoting talented individuals because they fear they're gonna lose their job, reputation. Heck no. If I can help you build broad enough shoulders to carry more weight, number one, I offload what I'm doing, but I'm also creating a duplication. I might, it's the old saying, um, I much rather spend time and money developing the people around me so they can grow bigger than I am, but grow more experienced than I am. And the risk, of course, is that they could lead the organization and go into competition with me. But at the same time, I don't have the bandwidth to do everything myself. So that trust factor then comes into, I'll sow into you. One of the biggest pet peeves of mine is that people don't have the ability to delegate because they're so insecure in, oh, I have to do everything myself for it to be right. Well, let me give you a hint. Delegate, speak to the person about what you want to get done, and ask them to repeat back to you what they think they heard. Now you have a time and an opportunity to correct that, right? And once you actually got to be on the same page, you ask that person to actually write it down and send it to you as an email because now there's accountability in it as well. So I'm just talking about how to diffuse this insecurity aspect as well. But if you're always looking to be the one that seeks to get the applause or the credit, then there would not be any reason for people to come in and strive to be as good or better than you are. I love referring to this little story from England in 1993, I believe it was. And I just joined a new company and I was assigned a mentor. His name was Key, or is Key Gohill. Is an Indian fella born and raised in Birmingham, England. And we were working early or late one night, and he goes, Knut, there's like 15 manuals on these bookshelves. And I've been through them all. He's been using a particular development tool for years and years and years. And he goes, I think I know everything that's in these manuals, but should you happen to find something that I don't know anything about in this particular development tool, I'll pay you £5. That's the same as £5. And he goes, but be warned, in the last 4.5 years, no one has taken £5 off me. It took me 6 months. It took me 6 months. I was in the office at 5 o'clock and we left at 8 o'clock, driving hours here, there, and everywhere. But then one day I said, Key, I don't think you've seen this. He looks at me, he looks at the screen, and he goes, you're absolutely right. I have never seen that before. He pulls out his wallet, it gives me £5. Now that is called delegation. That is called, okay, set standard in such a way that people believe you. When insecure, Key was not insecure. It was. I'll come back to that story later on. But we had a fantastic relationship, him and I. We were bouncing off each other, this, that, and the other thing, and he was very comfortable in his own skin. No insecurity at all. Pull out his wallet and pay me £5. Then it's time to have a look in the mirror and say to yourself, am I certain that I can get something done by a certain time frame? Well, most people say, I don't know how to. Julia and I, we had a conversation on a tennis court in Warrington, in North England. And the kids were coming running on the court, and we were trying to teach certain things, and they go, I can't. And Julie came home one day, and she was just tearing her hair out. And she goes, I'm getting sick and tired of these kids that said, I can't. And, every now and then you have a epiphany. And I said to her, let's just change that. Next time they say, I can't, then just turn around and go, okay, there's one out of two things that's going to happen here. Either you don't know how to, and I can teach you, or you don't want to. If you want to learn, I can teach you. And if you don't want to learn, there's the gate. Off you go. And it took about 2 or 3 sessions. And next time the new kids were coming in and going, I can't, Julie just went, actually, the kids started pulling their elders aside and said, no, we don't say that here. So for us as individuals, are we then in a position that we can actually trust ourselves to try something new? I know Louise on here, she just became the president of Toastmasters in her small city where she lives. And I bet you anything that wasn't comfortable, and I bet you anything it was a bucket load of work extra. But again, you've got to stretch yourself. And that's what life is all about, really. This is where I was leading to all of this. The solution for this landmine, and all landmines actually, is being self-aware and be prepared to grow. Find the books, find the podcasts, write down the things that you think you are not so good at, and create a battle plan or structure to go out and actually improve on them. It's that simple. The law of the lid says that if you are a leader of level 5, you ain't going to be in a position to lead someone at a level 6, 7, 8, or 9, or 10. So you got to grow. Either we are green and growing, or we are ripe and rotting, as I think John Maxwell says it as well.
We're all growing on here.
Yes. So secure leaders understand leadership is about multiplying others in terms of their capabilities, the abilities, and maybe grow some new skill sets. It is not about diminishing or punishing them. But shifting from fear to empowerment, leaders inspire loyalty, unleash creativity, and create a legacy that outlasts their personal achievement.
I like the self-awareness. I do that. I learned from Anthony Robbins. Some of you guys were on True Voice with Lauren. I told you I worked with Lauren a long, long time ago when I first left the police in Australia, which is kind of like a long, long time ago. But they did teach me Carney, they call it. So it's continuous and never-ending improvement. So I think coming out of the police, I just adopted that. So when Canute just said the solution is self-awareness, I'm working at the airport. It's really interesting dealing with all these younger people and stuff. But everything he just mentioned through the last 3, I was like, wow, you're kind of dealing with all of that, right? And for me, it's my self-awareness. How do I approach it? How am I dealing with it? Am I, like I have learned, just don't say anything because no one's listening, right? But if I can offer some value, I get better rapport back. I mean, that was just an example, but I had to be more self-aware to kind of then be able to go forward. And each week I'll share some more because I've had some things where I've really had to, use my experience in personal development to actually get a better outcome. And it's the same with, I meet people all the time, but I don't prospect at work. But I was on the plane and I just, funnily enough, the other day I was going to Dallas, but the lady next to me was just having a conversation. She piped up that she was 80. I wouldn't have ever thought she was 80, right? But she was like, the problem is I can't get a job. I'd love to go and work like you work, but no one will employ me. So that opened up a great opportunity of which she was like, oh, this sounds amazing. And she was a very youthful 80, actually. So that was really nice. But I mean, it's just being comfortable in my own skin, being able to just have those conversations without, it really was organic. It was a natural conversation. We were just talking about a few things, but I love John Maxwell and all of those. So I don't know if anyone else wants to share something that they realized from that, if you want to. Travis looks like he's moving.
Louis, yep.
That last line, shifting from fear to empowerment, leaders inspire loyalty, unleash creativity, and create a legacy that outlives their personal achievements. As you had mentioned, I was a reluctant president of Toastmasters. It's a very big club. It's like 26, 27 people. And my mind was, I don't want to be the boss of anybody. And then I finally settled down and said, God has a reason. Because in my mind, I don't want to be a boss. And that's been one of my fears in moving up the ladder of LifeWave. I didn't want to be the boss. But the last time we had a meeting, Canute perfectly said it. We're not the boss of anyone. There is a difference between being a boss and being a leader. And so now the club, I feel like he put me there for a reason, to build my skills, to get over my fear of being the boss, because being a leader and being the boss is two different things. And right now in Toastmasters, I am not the boss, but I am leading. And I've set a goal with everyone's help to be the highest tier possible. We were the next to the highest tier possible. But I called everybody and found out what their goal is. And some of them, just didn't have much of a goal. I said, that's okay. I just needed to know so we could plan forward. So what I've learned is the skills that I'm learning now are the skills that I think I know will propel me at the appointed time in LifeWave, in a job where I can make money. Right now, I'm working and not making any money because it's a volunteer thing. But it's okay. I felt the fear and I did it anyway. And because I did it, I think I know I will reap rewards. So this conference is going to really help my brain click, click, click. That's what I needed. Because Canute and Julie always said, Louise, what is your goal? And I couldn't really put my finger on what my goal was. Know my abilities, but I couldn't put my finger on it. But now it is clarity. I am destined and equipped to be a leader, not a boss.
Perfect.
Absolutely, you are.
Well done. Well done.
Mm-hmm.
Looking sensational as well, I must say.
Well, I work with a great team.
Yeah.
For that.
Okay.
And then
Guys, we have some admin stuff that we need to get through. Louise, one last word. You're going to say?
Patience. I have to be patient with myself and patient with the people that I work with on the team, because not everyone has the same goals, but we still love them like you guys have loved me where I am. Mm-hmm. Even though you see potential, but my brain is not ready to elevate myself to that level. So I have to learn that, to apply that skill with myself and others that I've chosen to lead.
Self-awareness, absolutely. I love it. I love it. Well done. Well done. Mm-hmm. Julie, you had something admin stuff about the breakout rooms. You had something about the DCC meeting on Sunday at the National Convention.
Yeah, well, so a number of us are going to the LifeWave convention. It's in 3 weeks, I think. Yep. We're almost just under 3 weeks, under 4 weeks. So if you want to go to the breakout meetings, they had some issues with that, organizing it. But now if you go into your account where you have your ticket, you can book your meetings, breakout meetings from there. So it's like in events. So Linda, I don't know if you have your account. I don't know if you. So when you got your ticket, for instance, like we have an account. So when you go on the account, it you can scroll down and it has all the meetings. So they have these breakout meetings. So some of the meetings, one of the ones on the new water machine. Then there's getting brand partners started, information about patching, etc. So there's a number of different ones that you can choose to go to. Also, the X2O water machine will be available for sale for anybody that attends the conference. So they've reached their pre-release level. We have one of the machines. I mean, it's fantastic. We love it. I mean, I just go, okay, it's a detox every day. I don't need to buy any of these kits. You get a detox with the water. It's amazing. Plus, I've had some really great results, which I won't go on now, but already. So it's pretty amazing with the patches and that. But anyway, you know, I think they're going to offer some sort of payment plan as well. There was some murmur of that, so we'll see at conference how they're going to do that. And then we're going to get there, Canute, on the Wednesday, I think. Is that right?
Yeah.
We're planning to get there on the Wednesday. And then, you know, we can, you know, let's have a team dinner and stuff. So once we coordinate when you're going to get there and stuff, and then we can all get together, and so that'll be good. Janet's coming, obviously. People from Janet's team. So I don't think Marsha was on. I thought she was coming on, but she's coming along. So that's really, really great news to have Marsha. You know, she lost her husband back in April. So anything else, Canute, for the admin?
Yes, be aware that the This Is It team will have a training session from between, I think it's 8:30 through to 3:30 in the Grand Ballroom at Anaheim on Sunday. So if you can, make sure that your flight out is late afternoon. If you can. I think it will be recorded as well, so you can get at it as well. The breakout sessions will not be recorded or broadcast. Okay, so it is what it is.
And also, I just remembered they have now released today the virtual tickets for the convention.
$89 for the virtual. If you're signing up new brand partners between now and the conference, it's $100 off the ticket if they want to go there in person as well.
And I have one ticket left, and it's $249, which is the same price as what Lifewave are offering. But if you have anyone that wants to go, let me know, because I do just have one on hand.
All right, I think that's it. Any questions from anyone? Good to see you, Linda. And Nura?
Or anyone want to share anything, please?
I really enjoyed the walkthrough, Canute, with the inference. What I got was the inference on personal responsibility and the constant reference to I and I language, which is part of my way of life. So thank you for the lovely reminder. Well done. Gratitude.
Thank you.
Awesome. It was great to see everybody. And so we have the bigger team meeting that'll be next Thursday. So that's with Janet and Janet's team as well. So if you can, you know, make that one, we'll do this every 2 weeks. And we're going to continue with some leadership landmines and a few other things. Next meeting will be, Canute, you're good with math. Do you have the date? I didn't pick up the date.
That will be around the 15th of October. I don't have my calendar here exactly, but we'll put it on Telegram.
Yeah. All righty. Great seeing everybody.
I do have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
You were talking about the breakout sessions. If you don't get a session because they're closed or full, will there be a lecture, you know, something going on in the conference room in the big auditorium?
I don't know the answer to that, but I can certainly find out for you.
Yeah, because I meant to call myself Friday and ask that question. It's like, well, you know, if there's only limited space and there's a bunch of 10,000 people trying to get in, everybody's not going to get in.
Yeah, so I'll make a note of that, and I'll call up line. All right.
Yeah.
Good question. Good question.
And the breakouts are just the first day only. Is that correct, or have they now added more days with breakouts?
Well, we've given the fact that we start on a Thursday and we're rolling through Friday and into Saturday. I am pretty sure they're going to be rotating these sessions because I totally expect that what you said as well that there would be capacity problems. So you can go to one, and then if you can't get in, you can roll that over to the next day. That's what I am led to believe, but I can't promise. I don't have a direct tap into events at LifeWave. I do not yet anyway.
Goals.
Louise, are you waving your hand?
You said the next meeting would be next Thursday, not this Thursday, next Thursday.
That's right.
Not-
Yeah.
not-
Always are off weeks, so we do ours, and then Janet will do hers next week, and then ours will come the following week.
So we looks like we would have another meeting like this on the 13th.
Okay.
Okay, and we'll get a calendar out as well. And I believe the next one for with Janet's team as well together would be on the 9th.
Okay.
Time's flying.
Yes. Scary. We've got 3 months left of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Oakley dokley, everyone.
Thank you so much. Good to see everybody.
Everybody.
It's an informative meeting. Thank you. I like that. It was good information.
Yeah, I love the personal development stuff. That guidance is so helpful.
Thank you.
Fantastic. We love
Thanks,
it.
everybody.
Thank you.
Really good to
Bye.
see you all. Have a great week. Thank you. Bye
See
now.
you later.
Bye.
Bye.
I see you.